Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Sailing EV. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about an incident that happened in episode 1. I received a few comments asking whatever happened to Lenny. And so I did an interview with Lenny and allowed him the opportunity to kind of tell his side of the story. I think we should all be grateful that Lenny agreed to this interview, and so that we all can learn from his experience and what happened, and for all of us not to do the same thing. So without further ado, let's get into the interview. All right, guys, we're here aboard Lenny's sailboat Dragonfly in Stillwater Basin, and I thought we'd give Lenny a chance to tell us about how he's doing here on the winter, what it's been like here at Stillwater Basin during the winter. And we can also talk a little bit about the incident that happened earlier on this summer. The fiasco, the debacle. All right, so maybe you want to just talk a little bit about who you are and what how you ended up here. You can say whatever you want to the viewers out there who are interested.
Well, here I am at Stillwater Basin. I've kind of made the rounds through the lakes, through the Lake Ontario here. It's been really quite an adventure. The ruckus at Frenchman's Bay was interesting. Excuse me, I had previously been diagnosed with cancer, and the previous day I had reached the decision to go ahead with the necessary surgery. So I really hammered down the night before.
Yeah, so you weren't in a state of mind to really, So just put some context to this. Basically, when I bought Evie and I brought her down to Frenchman's Bay Marina, where I currently live, I launched the boat. The first person I met was Lenny. We were right away. We became really good friends, and I've kept in touch with Lenny. And in fact, as far as I'm concerned, I wanted Lenny to become a part of this channel from the beginning. You can watch our episode where it's called Burning Man and Sinking the SS Minnow. I'll put a link to that right here.
That was fun.
And where we rescued a boat. It was during the summer. There was like a big beach party, Burning Man festival on the beach, and we were hanging out. And we found this really cool haunted tower. Anyway, I'll put a link to that right there, and to that video. And so that day, Sean Stoneham, my first mate, boarded, and I said to Lenny, I'm going for a trip up the St. Lawrence River. Do you want to come with us? And he was like, yeah, I'm into it, man. So I think I caught you off guard because it was last minute, and I had left, and I got a really fast boat. This is a Bayfield 29, which can average. Well, so what's the average speed in this boat?
I can hit 6, but that takes a little bit of wind. No, it's a bit of a tug. It's a cruising boat. It's very wide, and it's meant to be comfortable on. And it's I am.
Known nationwide as a very safe boat. It's a full keel boat.
Yeah, it's blue water cruiser.
It's a blue water cruiser, really cool boat. My dad actually owned one of these at one point, and when I was younger, I used to sail around Lake Ontario as a kid on this exact boat.
This is my second Bayfield.
Your second Bayfield, yeah. So how many boats have you had in your?
A bunch.
A bunch of boats.
A bunch, yes.
Yeah. So.
Sank one.
Well, that'd be an interesting story too. Do you want to tell that story first, just briefly? You want to? I mean, you actually. So he claims that he actually sank a boat. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. Do you want to tell that story really quickly? No, or do you want to just stick with?
I have pictures of circles and arrows that I'd like to include in that, so we'll have to do that another time.
Well, maybe we'll make that another video. But this video, I just wanted to kind of introduce Lenny and let him tell his side of the story on exactly what happened. And it is a bit of a conspiracy, actually, that ended up happening. It was actually one of the people in the marina that had called the RCMP on Len. And, you had some disagreements with some of the community there. And
apparently I looked at his daughter.
Yeah.
Well, that's on the character, isn't it?
Anyway, so let's go back to the day. The day Sean and I had rigged the boat, we had put a brand new bottom coat on. We had launched the boat,
Shiny.
And you can see that in the last episode, the channel trailer. I'll put a link to that right there. And so we were ready to leave and go on an adventure up the St. Lawrence River. So I talked to Lenny. Lenny's like, I want to come along with you guys. We're thinking about doing a buddy boat system. And again, my boat's a little quicker just because it's a bigger boat with a bigger, like a massive mast. It's a kind of a racing boat. And so we were planning on kind of skipping each destination and meeting up at wherever we were going to and staying in contact via radio. So what happened was Sean and I left, and this is episode 1. I'll put a link to it right there. And wow, we were, that day it was beautiful conditions. We were sailing. It was a perfect day to leave. The wind was coming from the west, the jet stream, and we had to head east towards Coburg was our first destination. So I remember seeing your boat, and you were cutting in on the shore. We went out of it, and I remember seeing your boat, like, just as we were rounding the Pickering Power Station there. I could see you were trying to catch up with us and coming along and in. That's when I heard on the radio someone say your call sign and ask you. And it was strange. But Sean and I were shooting a video at the time. That's when you decided to call me on the phone.
Hey, there's Len on the phone. What's up, Len? Okay. You're being followed by the police boat?
Phone, you're Michael. I've been. Let's just let you tell the story. I mean, let's take it from there. So.
Well. They said I fell off my boat, which is really a fallacy. I was on my dinghy. I was trying to hand shuffle it down the side of the boat and tie it up off the stern to tow it with me, and in the process, I mean, it is a dinghy. It's like trying to stand on an air mattress. I ended up doing a little flip into the water. As I say, I had consumed some alcohol the day before, having some distressing news, and I got up the next morning and, geez, there's a half a cup of whiskey in front of me. I may as well finish that off. Then I put the coffee on, and of course that went with a little Baileys. So, things got off to a flying I have a stutter, a flying start, and there was only a little bit of whiskey left in the bottle. More or less, so yeah. I had at that, and then Mike says, hey, we're heading down the St. Lawrence, and it's like, oh, well, that's a great idea. Like, that's what I was planning to do. Like, this morning when I got up, I'm going to head down the St. Lawrence. So obviously my medications are working, my liquor's kicking in, and here we go.
And it was a bit of a scramble. Yeah. So, I mean, what happened? Did they call you on the radio? I mean... Well,
yeah, no, they didn't call me on the radio.
I heard them calling you on the radio.
First I was looking out, and it was like, there's a boat following me, and then I got the call on the radio, and yeah. So then they pulled alongside, and I said, well, what's the problem? Like, I don't even have a drop of liquor on the boat. Of course, I drank it all, but...
really? That's... Jesus. And okay, and then so what did they say? What was the deal? They were like, demanded that you go into Whitby Harbor there?
They asked me where I was going. I said I'm going to head into Whitby Harbor. They asked me what's your next port or something or another. Anyway, I said I can make it into Whitby Harbor. And I proceeded along, and then I had been using my outboard and the sails up, and then I dropped the sails. Now, I don't know how you can be 3 sheets in the wind and sail a cutter rig. It has 3 sails, known as sheets, 3 sheets. You don't do that, 3 sheets in the wind. So anyway, I dropped the sails, and we sputtered in on the engine until it quit, and then the police boat towed me in the rest of the way. Now, I could have gotten my engine restarted, just they were there and wanted to get on with business. Mm-hmm. Now, at this point, they were alongside of my boat, and as I understand, this is the point, like, how come they were letting me sail my boat if I was supposedly intoxicated? Now, the only reason they came out in the first place is because somebody said that I fell off my boat,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I actually know who that is. and I don't think it is who you think it is. We're not going to reveal that today, just because I don't think there's any point. It's done incident now. We'll go through that. So, as you were coming into Whitby, obviously Sean and I were heading over to Coburg at that point.
Yeah, you were long gone. Yeah,
I told you on the phone, hey, I'm really far away. I don't think it's worth turning around.
Mikey, save me, save me.
And it's too bad. I could have turned around at that point.
Yeah,
I thought there wasn't any reason.
What are you gonna do? Hold my hand?
To be honest. So, maybe I'll just talk about that for a second here. Basically, I plan to sail down to the Caribbean next season. We're going to head up the St. Lawrence River around the point of Gas Bay and into Halifax, where we're going to reprovision, and then I'm going to head over to Bermuda and on to Grenada.
He kind of abbreviated that a whole lot. Sailing down the St. Lawrence. Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Okay, we're sailing down the St. Lawrence. Okay, we're done with that. And now we're sailing around the Gas Bay Peninsula. You left out, like, what the hell happened to Prince Edward Island?
Yeah, there's lots to see there.
There's going to be a whole 3 or 4 days down at Prince Edward Island.
There's been some comments, too, where I did... My second last video was Canada, the Caribbean. I'll put a link to that right there. And basically, I talked about, times and how long it would take to get down to the Caribbean, just roughly, using Google Earth. And, I'll tell you, it looks like a 3-month journey to me, realistically. But anyway... Well, let's go back to let's finish what we came here to talk about, which is
the crash.
The incident, the crash.
Next, my boat crashes into the pier. Well,
what?
Into the pier
in Whitby?
In Whitby, yes, because they're towing me now.
Okay.
So they're basically in care and control of my vessel at this point, and they pull it into, which isn't even a dock; it's a walkway, and it had a railing all the way down it, and there's like 78 police officers down there with all kinds of photographic equipment.
Really? You serious?
No, I'm making shit.
Okay. So just a Marine unit, right? It was
I'm trying to just make
I think they call it I think it's called a RIBS, which is what does RIBS stand for again? Maybe put a comment below what RIBS stands for. RIBS is something inflatable boat. Rigid inflatable boat. It's usually a hard fiberglass bottom with inflatable sides. Ribs, yeah. It's like a standard RCMP boat.
So they cut me loose. I careen into the dock, into the pier. Like I say, it's not even a dock. Like, where's the cleats? There aren't any cleats. Don't worry, they say, we'll stop you. Okay, so I toss some lines on. And the next thing they're going, he crashed into the dock. He was drunk.
Yeah. So did the officers boarded your boat, and at that point they...
No, I got off my boat, and they took me over. I blew into their little magic wand.
Now, where was that? Was that on the ribs, the RCMP inflatable?
No, I was on land. I had to climb over the railing to get there after they tied my boat up. And anyway, I blew over, and they decided that they were going to take me to the police station to get a proper breathalyzer exam. So they took me down. The officers were extremely accommodating. I can't see it so much.
Right.
Mike, I got in there and they put me in the cell. Now, I suffer from anxiety and depression and whatever else I can come up with for it.
Now, to me, ever since I've known you, you've always been the kindest person, a good friend of mine, and I just don't see that, which is great. Come on, buds, come on. It's all good, man.
Absolutely.
Everyone suffers from depression in farm. I don't think.
That, though. Yeah. So anyway, they put me in a little box there, and they shut the door, and I said, "Excuse me, I just had cancer surgery, and I have to pee, and it doesn't give me much notice." So they opened the door, and then they said, "You're 65 years old. What are you going to do? Take us all on?" So they just left the door open.
You probably would, though. They didn't know who they were messing with.
Yeah, third-degree black belt. Here we go. So anyway, they left the door open after that point. They were very accommodating, and I got to chat with the fellows, and, we had a wonderful time smoking cigarettes. No, that's Alice's restaurant. Sorry, I got mixed up.
So what happened? In the end, at the end of the day,
they charged me.
They charged you with.
They took me. They actually drove me back to the boat, which is way beyond their criteria. Right. So they realized we had rapport. We talked about kids in school, and the one fellow just had a newborn newborn baby, and I, you know, I gave him some fatherly advice as best as I could,
Right.
which I'm not very good at.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, you were charged with DUI, operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated, and so what happened at that point? I mean, like, you got a ticket and they let you go. They took you. They were nice enough to drive you back to your boat and.
Yeah, with a whole bunch of rules and regulations, I wasn't allowed to operate my own vessel any longer because they're all under the same legislation. Even though I have a boat license and a vehicle license, they're all under the same umbrella.
Right.
And that's something maybe a lot of people aren't aware of. You get charged with impaired driving on a boat, you lose your ticket on your vehicle.
Yeah.
That is going to impact your life. You lose your ticket on your vehicle, your insurance rates go through the freaking roof. There's all kinds of things. I was very fortunate that I was able to get a 90-day suspension, and I immediately sold my vehicle because I didn't need the inclination to go, you know, like, I'm just going to run down to the liquor store in my car.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah, good call. So I just got rid of my vehicle. It wasn't a necessity any longer.
So at that point, I'll put a link to some videos here. You know, when you see Lenny's boat going in front of Toronto, and there's a CN Tower there. That's in the channel trailer. Like, it's one of the shots.
Yes, and on every occasion, I had to bring somebody on board,
Bruce,
to skipper my vessel.
Yeah, so we had Bruce.
I could no longer be in control or care of my own vessel, and that to me was devastating as a live-aboard boater. That I can't get on my boat and sail somewhere. I had to inconvenience my friends, Bruce, anybody else that I could recruit, Kevin, and this gentleman right here.
And we had a great time, though. I mean, Bruce took control of the boat. We sailed into Toronto Harbor. We went into right by the L.R. Hearn Power Station and across through the inner channel and into the Toronto Islands. You guys can watch that video. I'll put a link to it right there. And it's a great video. Sailing to Toronto, parts 1 and 2, I believe it was.
Yes.
And we had a great time. And so before we talk about what's going to happen in the future with this channel and what we're planning on doing together as sailors here in Canada, let's just finish up. So did you go to court? Like, I mean, what happened in the end in terms of
I have a very good friend that helped me compose some letters. We sent them off to the Crown Attorney. His answer was no.
Ooh. So
we sent another letter off. And eventually we managed to connect on some common ground and be able to come up with an acceptable resolution that worked for the criminal justice system and my criteria to be able to sail away. And I pleaded guilty to a much more severe charge that could have had me incarcerated for 10 or 20 years had anybody died, which thankfully I was the only person on the boat. And there was not a boat within 100 miles of me except for Mikey here and a police boat.
Yeah.
So anyway, everything blew over. I can operate my vessel again. I cannot be in care and control while I'm under any kind of influence of alcohol. Mike's under care and control.
Yeah, so right now I'm the captain. We're in port right now. It's the winter. The bubbler's on. There's no way we could even move this boat out of the marina right now.
I get a reprieve.
I think if the police turn up, we would be okay right now. So basically, I'm the captain right now here on this vessel. It's Lenny's vessel. It's a bit of a strange scenario, but at the end of the day, Lenny, what would you have done differently? For all those people out there that have clicked on this thumbnail and they're trying to...
I wouldn't have got cancer, and I wouldn't have drank like an alcoholic the night before. And then when I got up, I wouldn't have followed it with the same opposition. And I sure as heck wouldn't have jumped on Mike's tail there and said, yeah, let's go down to St. Lawrence. Obviously.
Which is quite far away.
Yeah. It's a bit of a distance.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you, man. I feel like I'm kind of responsible for it in the end. I'm a high energy person. I came aboard your boat and I put all these crazy dreams in your mind. and I felt like I was responsible.
I was the one that talked you going into Halifax, so don't tell me crazy dreams.
I know. So in some way, I feel sort of responsible for it, and you know.
Not at all.
So now that we've came to the conclusion about the DUI
and
situation, Here we are now. It's the winter of 2021. It's January. We're surrounded by ice. It's like -10 outside right now.
Oh, hey, I wanted to tell a story about after all that happened. That I went back to the club there, and I thought I had nailed down the individual that was responsible, and that ended up not particularly well, and that led to me being tossed out of
the marina.
The marina, yes.
And there's actually a shot of you sailing out that
yes,
day.
Yes.
In one of the videos, I'll make a link to that right there.
Link to that.
No, it's just this is the 21st episode of SVEV. There's a lot of videos there. You guys should check it out. I encourage you to look at all the videos that are there.
Oh, it's all about having fun. The Burning Man, are you kidding?
It was great, man.
Yeah,
I mean, those are the best days of my life, man.
Oh,
we had the best time.
You know,
together.
I spent that whole summer doing some fabulous sailing with all due to my good friends and a wonderful woman, Pratima, that I met. Pratima.
What's up, Pratima?
Hey, Pratima, tell your friends.
Yeah, she's great. So let's talk a little bit about, moving forward. So like I said, it's the winter of 2021 right now. It's January, mid-January, just after January 22nd, I think, or something.
28th.
28th? Jesus, I don't even know. I haven't worked in the last few weeks. I've been on my boat. Okay, so it is Thursday, January 28th.
Yeah.
And right now, Lenny and I have been communicating over the phone and texting back and forth and talking about, and before, like when I first met you, I mean, we would spend nights and nights on your boat looking through charts and just dreaming about, sailing and really doing some cruising here. And moving forward, I was thinking maybe we would tell the viewers a little bit about what the plan is and what we plan on doing. So, I mean...
Well, we're very restricted by the COVID virus right now. And I know last year I followed it because I had hoped to make good my exit, but then I screwed up. So, but anyway, they did open the St. Lawrence all in due time and open to recreational boaters, so we could have made the trip. So we really don't know what's happening for the coming year because Ontario's in a lockdown and Quebec's in curfew, and we don't want to talk to anybody. We just want to sail down the St. Lawrence. We'll mind our own business.
I know,
right?
And comment below on what you think. What do you guys think about what's going to happen here? I mean, you should sit back so you're in the frame, but definitely, guys. Those of us who are interested in sailing, the future of sailing, in my opinion, is questionable. What will we be allowed to do in months to come, next season in particular? Will the, if we decide to sail up the St. Lawrence River, will we be
allowed to?
Will we be allowed to?
We have to pass through 5 or 6 different locks to get down the St. Lawrence to make the rest of the call. Some of them are in American territory, and some of them are in Canadian territory. Obviously, we have the credentials to get through both.
Yeah, so, but let's talk a little bit about the plan. So I was thinking, what I want to do, and, I'd really love to be able to do this, which is leave Toronto in my wake, go across to Cobourg, maybe spend a bit of time in the Sandbanks region, head up to Kingston, and continue on to Gananoque, where I want to spend a good week in Gananoque at the mooring where I was. I'll make a link to the video in that right there, and which is exploring the Thousand Islands, and from there I want to continue north. It's actually northwest, and head up to Brockton, past Brockton, on to Montreal, and then on to Quebec, and then from there go around the point of Gaspé into the city of Gaspé, which is like maybe I'll put up an image of the map up right now, and go into Gaspé at that point.
Prince Edward Island.
Pass down through Port Hawkesbury, and go through Port Hawkesbury and round and head south towards Dartmouth, Halifax, where at that point I'll need to do a haul out, maybe do some provisioning and a reevaluation of the situation, And at that point, you know, I don't think I can plan much further than that, just because both of our boats are very old. And that's one thing, like, if you're planning on sailing...
What's wrong with being old?
Nothing wrong with being old.
You're no spring chicken yourself, you know.
Hey, my boat's exactly the same age as I am. So, I mean, I'm 42 years old at this point. And, how old are you?
I'm 65.
65. So, yeah, I mean, how old's this boat? This is an 81? 1981?
No, it's an 85.
85, okay. So, your boat's a little newer. And maybe I'll take the GoPro and pan around so you guys can see what Lenny's boat really looks like. And, anyway, the point is that it is possible, guys. We are going to do some sailing this season. 2021 is filled with all sorts of interesting sailing. Stay tuned to the channel. We're going to be heading up to St. Lawrence, heading towards Halifax and beyond. And, you know, make sure you like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe.
Well, I release a weekly episode.
Buy a ticket.
Yes, if you're interested in sailing, you're planning on buying your own boat and sailing around the world, this is the channel for you, SVEV. So remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel for weekly content. And I think that's it. Thanks for having me aboard, Dragonfly. And cheers, Lenny.
He's going to be here the rest of the night. You should see the shit that goes on now.
All right. Thanks, guys, for watching.